So it's been a while since I've worked on this car. 98 Talon, TSI all-wheel drive. I sent out some parts to get powder coated and they're back. So that means progress with the engine. Now obviously they didn't come this way. Every part was bubble wrapped. It was packaged very nicely. I sent this out to Detective Coating it out in Virginia, somewhere around Richmond. And did a pretty nice job. It's actually a friend of mine, good friend of mine. So this means I can move forward with the engine since it's been sitting on the stand wrapped up for a long time. So you get to come out. This is what this thing looks like. It's been a while since I've seen it. So I guess I'll begin by installing these two metal brackets that go on the cylinder head. Alright, so I got these two installed. I also replaced this freeze plug up here. It had like a little patch, so just went ahead and replaced it. It's here, I got an extra one here. It's a 35mm. Alright, next I'll be installing this left-hand motor mount bracket. I actually powder coated this a while back. This one didn't get sent out. I just got lazy and sent out some of them. See, this should be nice and shiny. So I'm gonna be torquing these bracket bolts to 30 foot-pounds. Alright, so brand new idler pulley. Here's the part number. So I'm going to torque this to 30 foot-pounds. Alright, next is going to be this tensioner arm that was powder coated by Detective Coating in Virginia. Did lube that up a little bit. Alright, this tensioner bolt here, torquing this one to 16 foot-pounds. After I torque this, I like to make sure this moves freely. Next is the timing belt tensioner. It's going to go right here. This is a brand new Mitsubishi OEM tensioner. Now this is for a 7-bolt, late 7-bolt. It's the part number. There's like 3 different ones. Well, I mean, if you include the 1G. I think there's like 3 or I can't remember the exact number. Just make sure you're using the right one. Now I did add a little bit of blue Loctite on this. Alright, so the manual calls for 14 to 20 foot-pounds on these 2 bolts. I'm going to go 17 foot-pounds. That'll do. Next on the list is this tensioner arm pulley. This is for a 2G7 bolt. It'll only go in, these 2 dots will face out. I'll go in that way. If you're putting it in this way, it's wrong. Now I'm not going to torque this because I still have to tension the belt. So that'll be later. Next on the list are the cam gears. Just OEM ones. All I did was degrease them. I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on this bolt. Get this in. Making sure the dowel pins are up. A little bit of Loctite on that bolt. Alright, the camshaft bolts are torqued. Torqued them to 65 foot-pounds with a little bit of Loctite. So I'm gonna try using this tool here that I got from Extreme PSI a while back. I couldn't use it in my car. I don't know if it was because I had aftermarket gears or what, but let's see how it works on OEM gears. Maybe. There it is. Lines line up, dowel pins are up. This is actually the first time I actually get to use this. Like I said, I tried these on my AEM cam gears and I didn't have good luck sliding it in there. But OEM cam gears, it seemed to work. Alright, so up next is this HKS timing belt. Purple one. It is used. It's out of one of my cars. It didn't have that many miles on it, so that's why I'm reusing it. Making sure it's a top dead center. I'm gonna start putting this timing belt on. It does help if you have zip ties here. Just getting a little lazy and not using them. Alright, so dowel pins are up. These two lined up. I'm gonna come around, keeping tension on here. I don't have balance shaft, so really it doesn't matter if this sprocket here is lined up. This is a nice tool to have, especially if the engine is in the car. So we'll slide back here. Alright, so I went ahead and put this tool in there. You can see it goes through this hole. Normally there's a plug in there. Put some tension on that, and you see how this pin slides in and out easily. That's what you want when you set this tension here. So I'm gonna grab my tool to turn this tensioner pulley. Shove it in here. Turn it counterclockwise. Oh man. Let's see if I can do this first try. Grab my torque wrench that's set to 35 foot-pounds. And torque it. That's it. So if I got this right, should be able to take tension off of this. Should be enough. This should slide in and out. Ooh yeah, that's definitely not right. See how it's tight. So let's try again. Alright, so I made another attempt. Loosen that up and retension this, and this is what you should get with this thing off. This pin here should slide in and out like this very easily. Now I'm gonna rotate it like about a few turns. I think it's like 6 times, and wait about 10-15 minutes, and then see if it slides in and out like that. If it moved, I'll have to recheck it, or readjust it. Alright, so I flipped the engine so I can install this oil strainer pickup tube. Here's the part number if anyone needs it. Oh shit, this is for a 2G. Brand new. I'm also using the Mitsubishi OEM gasket. A little dab of Loctite in there. Alright, so this oil strainer's torqued. Now I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this surface here for the oil pan. Here's the oil pan. I actually powder coated this myself, believe it or not. Just a gloss black finish. So I'm gonna prep this, throw a bead of sealant, and torque it down. I'm also gonna be using this oil pan bolt kit from STM. There should be two smaller ones too. Haven't even looked. And the two short bolts should go one here. Here's the sprocket for the oil pump. And the other one right here. The reason is for timing belt clearance. This is a ACL front case, oil pump front case. Alright, so I ran this one all the way down. And I don't see any part of the bolt sticking out. It's almost flush. But for this side, it's going to be hard to focus. About right there is flush. So I'll probably just grind this down. Just this one, because like I said, this one is fine. And this is without the oil pan too. Alright, so I found my old oil pan bolts. They're all dirty. And here's that little short, one of two of the short bolts that I was talking about. You can see the height difference there. Alright, so I took that Allen bolt to the grinder and matched it to this one right here. I'm going to be using the Permatex Right Stuff. It's not the 1 minute stuff. This is 90-minute return to service. Normally I use the 1 minute one, but I'm in no rush. Alright, I applied the sealant. Now I get to finally drop this in here. So I'll go ahead and start installing these bolts here. Guess I'll leave that little short one for last. And there's all the oil pan bolts installed. Looks pretty nice. I'm gonna let this sealant dry. Oh, you can see the bead sticking out a little bit. So I've been removing these small exhaust manifold studs since I got new ones. So I take these out by installing two separate nuts. And I take a wrench and a socket and then tighten these two together. And once they're tight, grab the wrench and the nut that's closest to the head and spin it. Hopefully it spins out. Just like that. And there is all of the exhaust manifold studs installed. Well, all the little ones. It's a brand new OEM exhaust manifold gasket. Here's the part number. So I got a new timing belt cover piece for the center here. Since my old one that I removed, I got it out with these studs on and I cracked it. And I'm sure over time the heat and whatnot, flexibility is not the same. So let's see if I can get this in without breaking it. Well, there's that one. I'm reusing my bottom one. The only thing wrong with it is just that. Yep, something like that. Now some bolts. Timing belt cover is secured. I need more stuff cleaned up and powder coated before I can install. I mean, I can install filthy, but who wants that? My intake manifold is in this black bin. It's filthy too. That'll need cleaned up and finished or powder coated. You gotta bag this and put it away for now. So this is a good stopping point.